quite stay alive.
And I gotta take a look to see that L-Town is actually running this flag. They're now trying to get this flag back. Look at Allegiance. They are moving together, and they might be able to still get this golden boy.
And that's gonna do it, folks. Counter Logic Gaming. They are the Halo World Champions of 2016. What a run they've had all season long.
Hello, my name is Tullbery, and if you don't already know, the Halo World Championship took place over the weekend. CLG ended up sweeping Allegiance in the finals and winning $1 million, so good for them. They earned it. I personally was expecting EG to go further, but they didn't make it. Overall, though, it was fun to watch. I kind of wish the finals were a bit closer, but it was still fun to see good teams play. So I want to make this video right now to kind of go over how I feel about the tournament. I think that there are definitely some positives and negatives to the tournament on the Halo community. Overall, though, I think that the positives kind of outweigh the negatives. I think the biggest plus is that it brings a lot of attention to the Halo community. As far as console shooters go, the most popular ones tend to have control over the esports, right? So in like the late 2000s, you had Halo 2 and then 3, and then kind of recently, Call of Duty has kind of taken that mantle. But, you know, I think the fact that COD's recent titles haven't really been that great, it's kind of made them lose their footing at the top of the esports for console shooters. So 343 is trying to re-establish Halo into that position. The real gains of this attention is that more people are sort of drawn to Halo, and this is really huge for a game that struggles with low population issues. One thing I may want to note is that I think 343 should have done a better job of explaining what is happening in the game, because if you have somebody who's never played Halo watch these matches, they would have no clue what's going on. Golden Boy and Bravo did a good job at explaining some events at times, but I still think a new viewer would not be able to comprehend this. You know what? They might actually be able to understand that last part. But seriously, if 343 wants to fully capitalize on these tournaments, they should really make it more comprehensive for new people. This attention can also spark sort of a continuous cycle of more attention. What I mean by this is, you know how once Halo died down, you had a lot of Halo pros who went over to COD, because that's where the attention was, that's where the money was. No, I'm not saying that they only switch over for money, I'm just saying that it's sort of a bigger deal now. But now that 343 has broken the record for the largest prize pool in console shooters, I'm sure that more teams and organizations will come over to Halo and start working with that, and that just brings more attention, which continues to bring new players to Halo. Another sort of reason why I think that the tournament was a positive influence for Halo was that it actually forced 343 to make Halo a bit more like it used to be. I know some people would argue that Halo 5 is a very different game than the original trilogy, which I can agree to a certain extent, but I think that things like equal starts and sort of the gun balancing was more in line with what Bungie was doing. So this really isn't a direct effect from the tournament, but it's more like a result of 343's attempts to make the tournament possible, if that makes sense. Now, I do have to acknowledge some of the negatives of this tournament. First off, it's more of a possibility of what could happen. I know I said that it draws new players to the game, but the one negative is sometimes you get these MLG tryhards who are complete jerks and they're no fun to play with, and then they make playing Arena really annoying. So that's not really a huge deal. That's something you can get over, but it's worth mentioning just for the sake of the video. Now, probably my biggest concern isn't really the fault of the tournament, but it's more to do with how 343 is handling it. I can't be certain on any of this, so this is just speculation, but I believe that this tournament was partially, if not mostly, pushed forward by Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft would really benefit from a big tournament for a console-exclusive game from a developing company which they own, right? And this has been treated like a big marketing deal. You saw all those promos and ads for it, not only while you're playing the game, but on their YouTube and stuff. They even had Phil Spencer there at the finals. So this is in no way a small deal for 343 and Microsoft, and why shouldn't it be? It had a $2.5 million prize pool, but with all this focus on esports comes a lack of focus on other aspects of Halo. In the case of Halo 5, I really think some community features took a backseat to making the game a reliable esport. You know, Arena came out with very little maps. In fact, they were just enough to fill a tournament series between two teams. There were only a handful of game modes, nearly all of which were completely competitive. There was no big team battle at launch, and even now they only have Forge maps. Not to mention that the fact that Forge, as good as it is, didn't launch until December, and Theater is still an absolute joke. Now, I can't blame all of Halo 5's problems on one tournament, right? That's just absurd. But I think that it's undeniable that the emphasis on the World Championships, whether pushed by Microsoft or 343, is partially to blame. So, what do you guys think? Do you think it's good or bad for Halo? You know, I think the Halo community is so accepting of new ideas and other opinions that I thought it was a great idea to make this video and alienate a portion of the Halo community because of my opinion. But yeah, just comment down below what you think, and yeah, be respectful about it, please. So, that's about it. Thank you for watching.
All that stuff.
All right, so fellas, here we are. We've been speaking about this for a number of months now. You're standing on the stage as a championship team.